Welcome to Mindshock. This is your host, Bruce McGuire, and you are listening to the Flat Earth Live Q&A series. This one's always fun. A lot of goofery to be had. And, of course, the one and only Craig McNeel of Fight the Flat Earth can't stop cope spiraling. It's hard not to feel bad for this little goof the past week or so with Artemis. I mean, he's just been melting down nonstop, proving his mental disability. And his full-time dedication to his humiliation fetish is interesting. It's interesting. He claims to be married with 2 kids. But all he does all day is humiliate himself, proving he doesn't even understand preschool level basics, from basic English, basic science, basic logic. Where does he find the time? What an impressive individual. And we'll be going over a couple other things, including Alex Jones, with an interesting guest. Well, I guess Alex Jones was the one guest spotting. Well, I don't even know. We'll see. We'll look at that. If you want to help support the podcast, help logic and reason return to a world where it is quickly going extinct, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Make sure you're subscribed. Like and share Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Patreon. Patreon is to get priority for case topic, logical analysis, co-podcast requests. You could also be a guest on the podcast depending on your tier. Questions, comments, theories, thoughts, suggestions, rebuttals, debunkings of any kind, leave them in the comment section. Unless, of course, you're with us here live. Drop them in the live chat. I'll try to get to each and every one of them. And you can also become a YouTube member right here on YouTube. Help support the channel that way. So, if anybody's on Twitter, every time I mention Craig McNeel, he immediately comes. And the goof cannot pass up an opportunity to humiliate himself and demonstrate his mental disability. But this was a particularly funny exchange where he doesn't understand my analogy of if a toddler just keeps begging me to full contact kickbox them in the ring. They just keep begging. And when I refuse, they call me scared. Then they get their retarded toddler friends to say, how come he won't do it? How come an adult won't do it? Because they're convinced they're going to win. They're so convinced in their deranged minds. And even if they not get knocked out, like even if, let's say, somebody does it, I would never do that. But if somebody does that, knocks them out, they're just going to wake up and claim they won. I mean, that's their MO. I mean, Craig hasn't won a single debate ever, and he claims he wins every single one. I mean, it's hilarious. Welcome, and next chapter. First time I have caught alive. Aaron says, oh no, Alex Jones. If you haven't checked out the previous live, that was pretty hilarious. We went over a lot of Alex Jones. Welcome, Brian Cork. Run Boston Bear, Dragon Tracer. Yeah, he's got his little goof assistant cope spiraling as well, which is quite curious. Quite curious. Rubik's Cube or whatever. And they're begging to have some kind of debate. I mean, Craig wouldn't even pass the preschool level intro quiz in order to be part of a Mindshock debate. I mean, check this out. There's a reason you would never debate me, Bruce. It would ruin you. I respond, it would ruin me to full contact kickbox a toddler. You think I should? If they cry and cope spiral enough and pretend I'm afraid if I don't. He responds, dude, I'd destroy you in a debate and a full contact fight. I'm like 90% muscle at this point. Oh, man. Like, again, just a level of mental disability here. First of all, he's not. I mean, this guy's just a mountain of soy. A soft mountain of soy. Now, maybe he's not quite as obese as he used to be. I don't know. But to think that body composition has something to do with fighting skill? I mean, any obese fighter, like let's hallucinate alongside with Craig that he's 90% muscle. Obese Any trained obese fighter would drop him in 1 second flat, regardless of body composition. Again, the level of mental disability here, like, we really have to marvel at it. Like, Craig is definitely going down in the pantheon of Dunning-Kruger greats. I mean, imagine thinking body composition has something to do with fighting skill. Now, if the fighting skill is equal, sure. I mean, is he a trained martial artist, maybe in his own deranged mind? Like I said, you wouldn't dare debate me, you will run away, I need say no more. And so here, look at how he completely doesn't understand the point. I'm talking about them crying and cope spiraling, pretending I'm afraid to do so, and that's exactly what he did. Thus proving the point against himself better than anyone else ever could. You can't make this stuff up. You know, we really have to appreciate goofs like Craig. If they weren't around, where would we get this kind of comedy? I mean, you know, mainstream media is dead. Nobody watches Comedy Central anymore. Where would we get comedy than other than from goofs like Craig, humiliation, cope spiraling all day, day in, day out? I mean, these humiliation fetishists that are so dedicated to their craft. All day, every day. I mean, just the gopher is incredible. Dragon Tracer says, it's funny that he has an assistant called Rubik's Cube because I doubt he has the mental capacity to solve. If you haven't checked out the previous episode, check that out. He was melting down over some random guy in a van and his thoughts, and all Craig, with his single-digit IQ, you know, his ant-like bandwidth. I mean, maybe I'm being insulted to ants. All he could think about was people drowning in showers and carving their eyes out with spoons during breakfast. I mean, imagine if he put that single-digit IQ use. Maybe he could reach a preschool English level, but instead, that's all he fits into his band. Oh, man, we really got to appreciate this guy. I mean, who else provides humiliation fetishism on this level, bringing this kind of comedy? I mean, there's nobody else out there. McToon looks like he's miserable and somebody's got a gun to his head, forcing him into the anti-flat earth grift. Simon Dan is just, I mean, there's really nothing there to go with. I mean, Dave McKeegan's another goof with, I mean, that guy's so brain dead it's hard to stomach. But good Craig, he's so entertaining with his humiliation fetishes. I mean, the entertainment value is all here. Monsieur LeBlanc says, how do you watch those NASA live streams and think they are not pre-recorded? Crazy, Cope. The amount of goofs, not just Craig, but the amount of goofs out there melting down and crashing out day in, day out on satellites not being visible. I mean, their cope is hilarious. They're talking about, well, you can't see cars from a satellite. As if the claimed satellites in orbit are all the same distance from Earth. I mean, just the level of mental disability in spamming a non-congruent argument logical fallacy of that magnitude. Because supposedly there's near infinite pieces of space debris everywhere. And then you have satellites at different distances from the Earth. Like if a car, like let's say the Tesla, if it was really launched, if the Tesla passed in front of the satellite, you would see it. Not even directly in front of it. At a certain distance away, you would see it. You wouldn't see the car on the surface of the Earth. And the fact that this even has to be explained, I mean, that is evidence of quite the fall of logic and reason in modern society. I mean, these are things, regardless of whether one was a conspiracy theorist or a coincidence theorist bootlicker, back in the 90s, you didn't have this level of mental disability just everywhere. People understood basic concepts. Now, if they didn't want to argue in good faith, yeah, you had plenty of that. You had plenty of liars out there. You had plenty of actors and liars and disinfo agents. But random people not being able to comprehend very, very preschool level basic concepts, it wasn't anywhere near as bad as it is now. I mean, I run into people in real life. It's just not just online that have trouble. Like, nothing to do with conspiracies. Just have trouble with very basic concepts. But that's why Mindshock exists. To bring back logic and reason where it is going extinct. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have Craig of Fight the Flat Earth. Then this goof started crying about how he's actually a high school physics tutor. Oh, man. Oh, man. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Even if he memorized the Rockefeller physics textbooks, what does that have to do with understanding basic fallacies? Like, it's like he never misses an opportunity to spam fallacies and prove the point against himself. Doesn't miss a single opportunity. You gotta appreciate that level of dedication. Not a lot of people out there with that level of dedication. Dragon Tracer says, don't forget geostationary satellites magically tethered to the Earth by centrifugal forces and gravity. One more quarter says, her earpiece lost connection mid-speech. What? Craig's earpiece? Well, I mean, you could look up the fact that they have to do calculations so satellite... Well, the fact that they claim... It's a fact that they claim it. They claim they have to do calculations to make sure the satellites don't crash into each other because their orbits overlap and change. And, of course, you know, the infinite pieces of space debris. I can go over that if you guys want. You guys want to go over that? You're going to have big goofs crying, source! Source! They need their government source. They can't actually utilize any kind of critical thinking or deductive reasoning of any kind. Oh, man. Oh, we gotta be grateful for Artemis too, man. It really brought out the goofery. Laughter is, of course, the best medicine in this crazy world. I still gotta get that clip where Craig stacked 11 fallacies in a single statement. That is the record as far as I know. I've never seen it. Look, the second place isn't even close, right? Somebody snacked 5, 6. Did anybody even ever snack 7? I don't know. I don't know if anybody ever even snacked 7. Let me get that article on the alleged overlapping orbits of satellites. Actually, let's go over one more video here with goofs declaring flat Earth completely over while the flat Earth debate rages on in all the comments. Can you imagine somebody just releasing a video about ghosts and they're like, oh, the ghost skeptics are over. Look at this new ghost video. Oh, man. As if it definitely couldn't be CG. It definitely couldn't have been faked. We must all believe the latest Ghost Hunter video. We have to. I mean, it's just, the debate's over. It's all over. How can anybody deny? It's 4K. It's 4K video. Oh, man. Ah, this Artemis Go Free has been some of the best comedy I've seen in a while. So, let's look at this here. So not a single glint. Not only is there not a single satellite visible, but not even a glint. Not even a light reflection from a satellite. Not even a glint. Because keep in mind, these same goofs will say you can see satellites from Earth because of the reflection. Like, they're too small to see, except when light bounces off of it. But magically, light will never bounce off of it. When it's closer to the source of light, it can't bounce off of it. For whatever magical reason, it can't bounce off when the camera is in space, or alleged space. Look at that, not a single satellite, not a single piece of space debris either. Like when you're walking in the woods with a camera, I mean, if you just take a photo, you're probably not going to see any insects. But if you have a long video walking through the woods, some insects are gonna fly by the camera. If you're in an area with a lot of insects. I mean, look at that. Not a single satellite out of all the tens of thousands. Not a single one. Oh, look, was that space debris, or is that space debris on the lens? Oh, maybe. What was that? Or was this just some kind of like exhaust particulate? It might have just been an exhaust particulate. Not to mention, this is like 1990s video editing. But yeah, not a single satellite. Not a single satellite anywhere. And this is what the anti-Flat Earth grifter goofs declare Flat Earth is over now. I mean, do you even see a globe here anyway? I mean, you see some kind of like warped horizon. And there's the sun that magically can't glint any light off satellites. So this is the video that they're claiming is evidence the Earth is not flat. It's kind of weird. What kind of a low IQ nonsense is this? Like, that's kind of warpy. That's not even like a globe, right? Like, it's so warped. It looks more like a cube. Like a rounded cube. And not even like a perfect rounded cube. Like a bumpy rounded cube. Like, how does this prove a sphere right here? But yeah, the level of goofery knows absolutely no bounds from the scientism cultists. Let me catch up on some of these comments here before we get to the article on the overlapping satellites, and then we're going to get to Alex Jones. Jeff says, they taught since young when and what to question, so never even develop critical logic and completely educated. We can't even blame them, like asking an ape to understand math. Well, I think apes can make a lot more... can get a lot closer than goofs like Greg. Raider says, what was the trip that some of the flat earthers went to Antarctica? I heard some of them flipped their views. Curious about that. Was Jaren the only one who flipped? Bill Wall says, Seagal sucks. Blasphemy. The blasphemy is incredible. Are we going to get to Steven Seagal on this Flat Earth Live? Maybe we should. Just for Bill Wall. Troubling Tribune says undeniable proof. One More Quarter says High Impact Vlogs has a good cut of the speeches earpiece go. Bill Wall says Patricia Steer stopped all content created. Yeah, but she didn't go on the trip, did she? And Jaren sold out. One other guy flipped, but I don't remember his name. Well, who flipped that went on the trip? Was it just Jaren? And the trip to who knows where? Sinja says, just watched the first press conference with the 4 astronauts. Incredible display of clapping, hugging, and handshakes. They did manage to send a shout out to the taxpayers, so that was nice. Dragon Tracer says, I recently saw the ISS light crossing the sky, and it disappeared at some point. Someone says it's because of the Earth's shadow. That's a logical fallacy, right? Still curious what could cause it, no claim. That depends. Is it the shadow? If they're not proving how it's the shadow... that's a potentially false premise if it's not true. or it's circular reasoning, because it disappeared because of the shadow, and because of the shadow it disappeared. They're not actually providing evidence of anything. Flat Bob says, bro, if it was on a screen, it has to be real. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, look at the new Ghost Hunters episode. That shuts down all the ghost skeptics. It's case closed. They were streaming in 4K. They live streamed a ghost hunt in 4K. It's all over. It's all over. Oh, man. Jeff says, my only point of debate for now could be infrared photography and big bodies of water not curving. And it's up to them to debunk that because we can observe it here on Earth, not somewhere near Uranus. Bill Wall says, should never question your serpent overlords. Pasture of Castles says, vapes it, fakes it. Under siege rules. Flat Bob says, unless Seagal's a flat earther, please no. Well, let's find out. You know, I would be curious as to Seagal's cosmology. Believe it or not, I actually don't know this. I actually don't know what cosmology Steven Seagal subscribes to. Yeah, I got nothing. I don't think he's ever commented on it. He did, I believe he did mention into the interdimensional Yeti theory before anyone else did. We went over that on one of the Seagal episodes. He's always ahead of the curve. Pastor of Castle says, Jaren was always compromised. Jeff says, most people believe we come from apes, and it's starting to almost look like a plane of apes. We are becoming apex humans soon. Bill Wall says, Jaren only one from the Antarctica crew flipped. Raider says, okay, was just wondering, I know Whitsitt went on the trip and he stayed logical. Pastor of Castle says, they infiltrate every movement. Y'all think Flat Earth is different. Yeah, exactly. Flat Bob says, they infiltrated Flat Earth with the BSAE model, which is a non-reality. Earth is a VR. But yeah, just look in this video, not a single satellite. I mean, come on. Like, the level of cope in hallucinating, you would never see thousands, if not tens of thousands of satellites ever, no matter where the ISS is. And no space debris would ever be visible at any time over countless thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of hours of video footage they have from however many different angles of every single launch. I mean, it's just crazy. Troubling Tribune says, Earth is like a dream. Yes, also an anagram for heart. Alright, let me get this article here. It was from, was it from New Scientist or something like that? That kind of explained... I posted it on Twitter for the triggered goofs. Obviously nobody was able to respond with that. And there were even certain goofs who said you would never see it. And then they found, I believe it's the SpaceX, or Elon, what is it called? What's Elon's alleged... Oh, Starlink. Yes, Starlink. And then they showed like an actual video, alleged video of Starlink. But wait a second, if you could never see them and they're too small, then what does that say about the video that he just shared? I mean, it's not even consistent goofery. It's not even logically consistent goofery. We can't even ask for that. I mean, this isn't, so here's an article. This isn't the one I'm looking for. Apparently, satellites have the ability to dodge each other. This is an interesting article. I'm going to get this on the screen. This article's from last year. Crash Clock says satellites in orbit are 3 days from disaster. Satellites in orbit would begin to collide in a matter of days if they lost maneuverability during a solar storm or other outage. They're very exact here. A collision would occur in just 2.8 days if all satellites lost their ability to dodge each other. Because, yeah, so there's more than 9,000, more than 9,000 satellites in low Earth orbit between 340 and 550 kilometers above Earth. This large increase means satellites must constantly dodge out of the way of each other, known as collision avoidance maneuver, to prevent crashes that would generate thousands of pieces of metal and potentially render parts of Earth's orbit unusable. So for the goofs that hallucinate that all of the satellites are locked in perfect orbit at these great distances from each other so that they would never be visible from any live stream. I mean, their own religious dogma of scientism doesn't claim that, but the bootlickers hallucinate that satellites are just locked and magically always too far away to ever be seen from either the ISS or any launch ever, or any cameras ever. Very curious. Very curious here. I mean, I don't know how coincidence theorists cope with this. I just don't know. Oh, man. Aaron says the Earth in the left of the photo is actually convex. Yeah, it's weird. It's like warped. It's a warped horizon. Dragon Tracer says, can we get to the bottom of the ISS fading out? What do you mean by that? Oh no, Flat Bob. Drinking is not the answer. That's what they want you to do. Bill Wall says, a fire anchor is a large rod stuck vertically in the ground with grill, hook, and ring hanging off one side, adjustable and swings away from the fire. Jeff says, debris varies from bolts and nuts size up to exploded heavy big equipment, which would have collided and shattered to millions of pieces of small metal moving at speeds around 16,000 kilometers per hour. Well, the sheer number that they're claiming is up there. I mean, it's crazy. Let me just bring up this clip that I have that I always show, and it always triggers all the goofs because of the claimed amount of satellites, sizes, and distances. So this is their claim. The Church of NASA claims this amount of satellite and space debris. And some of them are like as large as football fields. Most of them are not. Most of them are smaller, but still really large. Still like way bigger than a car. So you would clearly see it at some point. Not all of them. Obviously not the ones that are closer to Earth and far away. But the ones closer to the ISS. And then of course just the space debris. Just the countless, near infinite pieces of space debris. So this is the claim. These are like the really big ones, but there's thousands, possibly tens of thousands of smaller ones. And here is the videos from the ISS allegedly. Not a one. Not even a small little tiny one in the distance with a glint. Yeah, no one's saying there's going to be a ton. I'm just saying there'd be like a couple with glints. And obviously space debris. Like, space debris could be, like, bouncing off of them right now. Not a one. Not a one. No matter how long you watch these time lapses, no matter how many hours, you won't see a single one. Not a one. Not a single piece of space debris. Not a one. Now, look at that glint. Look how powerful the glint is off the ISS, yet magically no other satellites glint. I mean, that could hurt your eyes just on video. That's a powerful glint. Not a one. Not a single one. Anywhere. Ever. And this is what it supposedly looks like. So, yeah. Alright. Who's ready for some Alex Jones? Skyline Pradial says, we see none pass in front of the moon. We should, yeah, on a long enough time lapse, yeah. Adam Borgen says, maybe you can't get high enough to actually photograph the Earth in its entirety. Well, they allegedly did it from Artemis when they were closer to the moon. Jeff says, and it looks as clean as in the 90s. Pastor of Castle says, was a hologram or a plane with lights? It could be some kind of, some kind of drone, some kind of advanced drone tech or something like that. Indoctrinauts. Skyline Project called him Indoctrinauts. Bill Wall says, and they supposedly keep track of all the debris plus the stuff they supposedly still using. They have a whole country full of supercomputers for all that math. Yeah, well, I don't think they keep track of the debris less than 10 centimeters or whatever, because there's too many. It's near infinite. But if something passes right in front of the camera, even if it's less than 10 centimeters, you'd see something 1 centimeter if it was close enough to the lens. So if you're talking about billions or trillions of pieces, occasionally some, maybe more than occasionally, would be in front of the camera. All right, let's look at this Alex Jones clip. It's pretty funny. I don't think it has to do with flat Earth, but it was just so funny. I couldn't not get over it. I mean, we could only laugh at Craig for so long. We gotta diversify here. Fairies.
Do you do IQ test here?
Yep, that's what we do.
Okay, because I think I need one.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Fairies, obviously.
Why do you need one?
Well, I've had some people lately telling me I have a low IQ.
And of course, he's got the Space Force t-shirt on, so I guess we're sort of on brand here.
Ooh, shots fired. Gosh, who's been telling you that?
Well, some people online have been telling me that, like the president, and even my dogs are looking at me a little bit condescendingly now.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Well, we'll find out. So with this IQ test, I'll just ask you a series of simple, really common sense questions.
Still Fairy is here.
And you just give me your best answer.
I'm actually kind of a little bit nervous right now.
Oh yeah, you should be, because if you turn out to be what some would call a low IQ nut job, then you're pretty much a lost cause.
Did you guys see the post by Trump? I mean, Trump kind of sealed his own death warrant there with that one. I think we finally have enough information to do Is Donald Trump a Shill episode. Maybe that'll be next.
Turn out to be what some would call a low IQ nut job, then you're pretty much a lost cause.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
All right, first question. Which word doesn't belong? Apple, banana, carrot, orange.
Is it carrot?
Very good, because it's not a fruit and all.
Craig's a fruit.
Next question. Who would be considered more of a traitor to their country? Person A, who receives $230 million from a foreign lobby, or person B, who receives $0 from a foreign lobby?
This is actually kind of funny. I haven't watched this yet. I haven't watched it. This is pretty funny. Nobody said JP was a shill. Oh, one more quarter here. One more quarter said JP shills. JP's hilarious. All of the COVID stuff was interesting from JP. I think he definitely single-handedly made some noise.
I mean, clearly person A.
Wrong.
Come on, that's got to be correct.
Next, hypothetical question. If a country has a major shipping waterway that you want to have open, and it's currently open, but they'll close it if you go to war, what would be a smart way to ensure that waterway stays open?
You don't go to war with them.
No, not even close. I mean, common sense would say go to war with that country and stay at war with that country as a way of putting pressure on them to reopen it after they've closed it because you went to war with them.
Are you playing with a full deck?
I don't play cards, but thanks for asking. Oh, and this is a good one. If you had the desire...
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Skyline Prodial says, JP walks a very fine line, but a shill, I don't see it. Flat Bob says, Trump is an expletive. Flat Earth Genius says, Trump is a master troll and you're too dumb. Everybody too dumb to notice. Everybody knows he's a master troll. That's not really what was in question. Skyline Prodigal says, JP pushes it but never goes overboard to give reasons to be banned. Well, he's trying to be super obvious that it's comedy satire, and that's what makes it so funny, because it's true.
To take down an international pedophile ring, what would be the best way to follow through on that desire?
Well, you launch a full investigation using every means necessary, and then you prosecute those bastards to the fullest extent of the law.
Wrong. No. You would launch an effort to prevent any investigations and prosecutions.
That can't be right.
Well, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Oh, man. I mean, Jones's thespianism is just off the charts. Who wants to see these two guys in a movie? That'd be great.
These questions are kind of weird.
Oh, I assure you, these are standardized IQ test questions, sir. Next question. Here's a scenario. You got a person, they work for America and America only. What country does that person work for?
America?
That's incorrect. They work for Iran. Next question. Who's more beautiful as a woman? France's First Lady, or maybe man, or Candace Owens?
Candace Owens?
No.
Oh, man, I'm going to avoid making any claims here. This is really funny, though.
Have you seen France's First Lady?
I would totally do her. If she had an OnlyFans, I would subscribe. Any reasonable man would. Okay, how would you describe what America First means?
Putting America's interests first above any other foreign nation.
No, you're actually describing anti-Semitism.
Oh, man. One more quarter says, JP is a Steam release for low-level coincidence theorists.
Yuck. Okay, last question. What year did we first land on the moon?
We've never been to the moon.
What? That's kind of a weird thing. That's kind of a weird thing for Alex to say, right? Because he defended the moon missions previously, saying that they went, but they faked all the video footage. So that's kind of interesting. What?
No, we've been to the moon. We go all the time.
All the time. Oh, man. This is funny. Flat Bob says, you can't trust any talking heads. Well, it's not about trust. It's examining their position and looking at their logical justifications for such.
Well, your test is complete. I've never seen a score like this before.
What'd I get?
You got an IQ of 65.
Is that high?
No, that's a very low IQ.
My life is literally ruined. He was right.
Who was right?
Just don't worry about that now. My big question is, what am I going to do with my life now that I've learned that I am so stupid?
Well, just remember, you're also a nut job. But yeah, you're pretty screwed. Really, the only...
Man, Alex Jones would be I mean, the level of thespianism is so off the charts here. I mean, this guy would be the best in literally any film genre. I mean, he could do medieval fantasy. He could do medieval drama. He could do any kind of comedy, any kind of drama. I mean, the thespianism is off the charts here. Bill Wall says, do they know all sarcasm is rooted in evil? Jaron loves the sarcasm. Doc and Alex seems to follow the same path as... Yeah, I disagree with you there, Bill, on the sarcasm. See, I use sarcasm as a humor gateway to truth. Because laughter is the best medicine. I would call that a false dichotomy and a hasty generalization on sarcasm. It can be, like when you're doing it, when you're mocking truth and good with sarcasm. I mean, it's like a sword. It can be wielded for good or evil. If you're using it as a weapon against truth and good, yes. If you're using it as a weapon against lies and evil, then how would that be bad? Just like fire, it can be used to burn down, or it can be used to disinfect and destroy evil. Welcome, Justin Johnson. Yeah, Skyline Prodial says can be used both ways. I mean, sarcasm more accurately is used as, I mean, again, I don't want to make that as a positive claim. Some studies have shown that it does show a higher level of intelligence within the comedic realm as opposed to regular lowbrow humor. Monsieur LeBlanc says lying is generally evil, and maybe some people confuse sarcasm with lies. Yeah, that's also true. CJ548 says everyone lies and everything is evil. Bill Wall says, I'm quoting scripture on sarcasm. Let me double check that. I actually do not remember. Craig's still melting down on Twitter as we speak. He's now posting Teletubby GIFs of Teletubbies running away because he's the toddler throwing the tantrum that somebody won't full contact kickbox them. Anybody? How many weeks is Craig going to melt down over this time? I think last time he went like a week or two straight. This is actually kind of interesting. So AI's summary here is sarcasm in the Bible acts as a deliberate rhetorical tool to highlight folly, expose hypocrisy, and emphasize divine truth rather than merely acting as mean-spirited ridicule. Elijah and the prophets of Baal, 1 Kings 18:27. Elijah mocks the prophets when their God fails to act, suggesting he is sleeping or relieving himself, highlighting the absurdity of idolatry. Job's response, Job 12:2. Job sarcastically tells his friends, no doubt you are the people and wisdom will die with you, mocking their assumed superiority. Paul's letters, 1 Corinthians 4:8, Galatians 5:12. Paul uses irony to challenge the Corinthians' pride, and in a sharp comment suggests those pushing circumcision should go further and emasculate themselves. Jesus and the Pharisees, Mark 7:9. Jesus calls out the Pharisees for ignoring God's commands to follow their own traditions. Discernment, while they're used in Scripture to correct, the Bible distinguishes between this instructive irony and harmful malicious speech, Proverbs 26:18 and 19. In summary, biblical sarcasm is often described as surgical, aiming to turn hearts toward God and away from foolishness. Also, the log in the eye, Matthew 7:35. Jesus uses humorous hyperbole to mock hypocrites who point out a tiny speck in someone's eye while ignoring the literal log sticking out of their own. Oh, man. Jesus and the honest Israelite, John 1:47. When Nathanael scoffs, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" Jesus greets him by saying, "Behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom there is no deceit." Many see this as a sarcastic way of calling Nathanael out for his immediate prejudice. So, intent matters. Sarcasm used for satire to expose folly or point to the truth is seen in a different light than sarcasm used to belittle or destroy. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of my own feelings on it, too. Do you have any particular passage you were talking about? I mean, there's references to unwholesome or corrupting talk, but that's not specifically in terms of sarcasm. And of course, scoffers and mockers, but that's not specific reference to sarcasm. I mean, that's quite a long aside on sarcasm, but... Jeff says the righteous path would also be immune to sarcasm, so it makes sense to me. Alright, hold on. Let me catch up on some comments here. Yeah, Bill Wall, do you have a specific chapter verse on sarcasm? Because there's not direct reference to sarcasm. There's direct reference to mocking and belittling. Jeff says it can also be used to cope with negative circumstances and eventually prevail. TJ Hoff says, "Eye of the Tiger" underlying music track where it's Alex Jones rambling to the beat in the tune of the Eye of the Tiger. Yeah, that was funny. CJ548 says it's a way of speaking where smart people get the message and dumb people are left confused. Pinto Sack says, did you see the female astronaut have a mental break during her speech? No. Dragon Tracer says, Sarcastians 22-4. Bill Wall says, I just remember hearing somewhere been a decade ago, apologies for my own. I think you're talking about mocking and derision used to belittle people instead of guide them to the truth. All right, let's finish this.
The option I can give low IQ people such as yourself is to like go off and open a Somali daycare.
I am completely devastated. Oh my God. Are you talking about that creature that looks like from the Lord of the Rings, the goblin thing that shovels around beside Macron, whatever it is? You're saying she's beautiful? Okay. Beautiful to do it like a gremlin, maybe.
That's funny. That's funny. All right. Anything else people want to go over? Oh, okay. Christina Koch Okay, let's go over that because I did. Somebody pointed out the somebody pointed out that she was in Mad Max as an actress on the crew. Let's look at this here. D Morrow on Twitter. Let's look at this here. People were saying she's not DEI, so does that mean she earned her thespianistic credentials? So she wasn't hired because she was a woman, she was hired because she's a great actress? Is that what they're insinuating here? And yeah, I asked on Twitter, I asked what the coincidence theorist cope for this was, but nobody was able to provide any cope. Yeah, quite interesting. Dragon Tracer says, let's go over the toilet malfunction in Artemis 2. NASA never disappoints, subtly calling out their own bull. Justin Johnson says, actor not. CJ548 says, Alex Jones is awesome, whatever the heck he is. John McClure says, autistic people often do not get sarcasm, and to me it is inherently subversive, mimetically delivering the opposite effect, or the opposite meaning to the subconscious. Bill Wall says, specifically worded sarcasm rooted in evil, maybe through Rob Skiba. I don't think I've ever heard that. Yeah, the phrase sarcasm rooted in evil is not coming up anywhere. Monsieur LeBlanc says, I'm just going to be honest, guys. I think the people who initiate a lot of these media ops, i.e. space streams, are just low paid and really bad at their jobs. I don't think so. I think it's intentional humiliation ritual where they make it bad on purpose. Because, I mean, even low budget slobs, I mean, this is like 90s level CGI. One more quarter says that's the earpiece astronaut. CJ548 says they don't need to fund disinfo when interests converge. That's funny. Yeah, they had a toilet malfunction, billions of dollars, and they can't get the toilet functional. All right, fine. Let's go over this. Let's go over this BS. Oh man. We're gonna go CNN for this because they're the most credible I could find reporting. So let's look at the CNN report on the Artemis 2 toilet malfunction. Oh man. Man, why is YouTube lagging? So much lag. Flat Bob says the special CIA toilet. Just like the parachutes, it costs insane amounts of taxpayer dollars for the lowest cost manufacturers. Sandro says they don't care about mistakes as the money sheep lap it up. Now, I think they do the mistakes on purpose. That's my theory. Humiliation ritual. CJ548 says traveling at Mach 33. Oh man, coincidence theorists just lap it all up. That's funny. What the heck? Alright, let's get this. So slow. Let's go. YouTube does not want us discussing the toilet malfunction. This is weird. So slow. So much lag here. I'm trying to get this video up from CNN. The most credible news reporting agency in the history of mankind. This lady's accent's really funny, though. Maybe it's going to make this even funnier. The DEI is off the charts here. Do we need a DEI meter on all these? I think we need a DEI meter. Oh, man. Bill Wall says, I proposed we are all part Nephilim by now, and Rob Skiba agreed. That's creepy. Pinto Sack says, Bruce, your dial-up connection sucks. Hey now, I'm on 128 ISDN. I'm not on 56K dial-up, my friend. Don't make fun of my ISDN. Actually, I'm not on the 128. I'm on the 112. I couldn't afford the 128 ISDN. I'm on the 112 ISDN. I actually really did have that modem. The 112. Flap Bob says, there's just serpents of light, serpents of darkness. Welcome, Crypto Chiro 3000. Sandro says, don't they wear diapers? Why need a toilet? Justin Johnson says, they flushed all the NASA patches after Bruce called them out, clogged the sun shuttles. Oh, man. Yeah, I need to re-air that one. I should re-air that one daily, because they really do not want that out for some reason. Man, this is so slow. I don't know what's going on here. It's not loading. Now, okay, now I really want to watch this video about the toilet malfunction. Alright, I'll do lower res here. Maybe it'll work in a lower res. They don't want high def toilet malfunction coverage, but what about standard definition toilet malfunction coverage? It's not going. It's not going. Hold on, I got one more thing I could try. Monsieur LeBlanc says, shout out to everyone still on 56K. $112 ISDN was so fast next to 56K. It was such an upgrade. Because most of the time, 56K, you weren't getting the full 56K anyway. But ISDN 112 actually got kind of close to it. Oh, why is this so slow? Alright, apparently it's working in 4K. Oh, no, it's not. Just trying to get it in 4K. Okay, never mind. What is up with this video? Yeah, I don't know. I can't get it to work. Alright, hold on. Maybe we got something here. Let's go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Victory is mine. Here we go. Artemis toilet malfunction.
4 days in
Fair use.
to NASA's most ambitious crewed mission in decades, Artemis 2 mission is dealing with quite an unexpected, but let's say a very human challenge.
DEI meters maxing out.
Toilet trouble in space. Even thousands of kilometers from Earth in the vastness of space, astronauts are dealing with the kind of daily issues we face on Earth, proving that in some ways, life in space isn't so different after all. So just after the agency's most powerful space launch system rocket lifted off from Florida, carrying 4 astronauts aboard Orion spacecraft, the crew reported some malfunction on the onboard toilet.
They're not labeling this as an animation, as a simulation animation, which it was. On the other video we watched, this was labeled as an animation.
System. The light was blinking quite unusually. So with guidance from engineers on the
And how is this even news? The crew needs to use backup urine devices? Like, why is this even news? Unless, of course, it's all humiliation ritual.
ground, astronaut Christina Cook worked to resolve the issue and it was restored to normal operations within a few hours. The spacecraft then left the Earth's orbit. But 4 days later, the troubles began again. On Saturday night, the NASA officials said that the crew members spent the last night attempting to vent the wastewater tank, which is attached to the toilet, but then ran into problems likely caused by an ice blockage in the vent line. So while the spacecraft was halfway to the moon, the crew was instructed to rely on collapsible urine collection devices as a precaution, exactly how they used it on the first day of the mission. Now, each astronaut has 2 such devices and is usually vented out daily out of the spacecraft or sometimes stored in contingency bags if needed. Now, there's a very small toilet seat and the solid waste, meanwhile, is securely stored in onboard containers for safe disposal.
I mean, again, how is this even news? Astronauts handle toilet malfunction.
Upon return to Earth. Now, scientists tell us that the spacecraft's urine tank is roughly the size of an office trash can, and NASA is advising the crew to currently keep only it half full as engineers continue to troubleshoot the venting issue.
billions of dollars and they can't get a functional toilet? I mean, there's people with a near zero budget making functional toilets in cabins.
Well, if astronauts have to go deep into space, we have to figure out that too. Now, part of the life support system. Now, meanwhile, there were visuals of the crew relishing mac and cheese for meals because remember, the food aboard Orion is selected so that it should be easy to prepare and consume in microgravity, minimize crumbs and remain safe and stable throughout the mission. Now, despite these minor issues, the mission's core objectives remain on track. It's inching closer and closer to the moon, preparing for a historic flyby on Monday, capturing regions never seen directly by human eyes. It even captured the Oriental Basin on the moon, marking the first time the entire area has been seen with human eyes.
That's interesting. Definitely not fake.
When they reach the far side, Earth will temporarily disappear as the spacecraft passes behind the moon, reappearing on the other side, what we call an Earthrise. So they'll see that transition from the near side to the far side of the moon first time through human eyes.
Engineers suspect ice blockage in vent system. Billions of dollars, and they couldn't anticipate ice blockages.
As they pass the moon, the crew will use geology skills to photograph and describe.
Justin Johnson says, expletive hit the fan. Pinto Sack says, imagine having to read the teleprompter for this piece. Oh, man. Awesome Town Matt says, it was a expletive situation up in fake space.
Features like the lava craters, flows and surface cracks. They'll observe differences in color, brightness and texture to help scientists understand the moon's composition and formation. There will be a communication blackout for 40 minutes also. From that vantage point, the astronauts will also witness a stunning celestial event, a solar eclipse, lasting roughly about 53 minutes as the sun moves behind the moon. Well, Artemis 2 is on track to become the first ever crewed spacecraft to do a lunar flyby.
Jeff says, the devil is addicted to his power. This is the ultimate display of it, to picture feces in a black hole. Oh, man.
And return safely back to Earth. The mission, which began on 1st April, is expected to last 10 days. It's the first time since Apollo 17 in the year 1972 that astronauts are going so near to the moon. The eventual plan is to set up a long-lasting presence on the lunar soil.
They had that same plan, what, back in the 50s and 60s? Same plan. How did that turn out? Moore's Law applicable everywhere, except when it comes to space travel. Dragon Tracer says, there must be a better video, Bruce. In the live, they were talking about burnt feces smell and stuff like that. Way funnier. Yeah, I don't think I could handle that. Jeff says, don't worry, the crap is weightless up there. Awesome Town Matt says, this is NASA's way of telling everyone we are full of expletives. Flatman B official says, hello, this is NASA Technical Issues Hotline. How may I help you? They'd be backed up forever, like that toilet. Okay. Flapop says, wait, burnt frozen poop. Consistency's never been NASA's thing. All right, we're definitely gonna we're gonna end it there. I've had enough of this. Oh man, back for more in the next live. We definitely gotta go over Steven Seagal. Hope everybody enjoyed another edition of Mindshock live Q&A in the realm of flat Earth. Craig is still melting down right now on Twitter, by the way. He's still going. He's still cope spiraling. If you want to help support the Mindshock podcast, help logic and reason return to a world when it was quickly going extinct, you can donate to our PayPal. Check the link in the description. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share to Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Patreon. This is Bruce McGuire signing off. Catch you guys next time.